Welcome back to NoticeGT, and for our first story today we're going to talk about Ford, who has decided to make a new feature with their headlights. So basically it's going to like scan the road signs and then it's going to project that road sign onto the road through its headlights. Now it sounds really cool, but my question is, how small of an attention span do Ford drivers have that Ford thought, yes, they need a constant reminder on the road? Because as most of you know, most cars already tell you the speed limit on the dash. If you can't afford to stop looking at the road to look at the dash for a second to see the speed limit, slow down. And if you need a constant reminder that you are on a windy road, good luck, honestly. I think Ford drivers need to stop thinking and driving and just drive. Now, speaking of driving, unfortunately, I drive an automatic. Yes, I know. But it does have its advantages from time to time, and I'm a pretty forgetful person. But according to Lexus, the new successor for the LFA, which is electric, is going to have a manual mode. I'm assuming this is so you don't fall asleep in the car, but according to them, it's going to have a fake clutch that can act just like any real manual, and it can even stall out the car. I'm happy because this means that we will still have fun in the future. Will I be buying a ticket for the EV train? No. But let's see what Dodge's soundtrack sounds like, and maybe I'll be swayed a little. Now, talking of the future, inside the deep belly of Porsche, they have been working on hydrogen cars. So they're doing this because they want to see just how low they can get the emissions, and according to them, they can get them to comply with the Euro 7 compliance, and let's just hope it's not like the last time they said that. But according to them, these engines will be able to produce 590 horsepower, and according to simulation, it completed the Nürburgring in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, the only problem they had that they faced was trying to get those turbos to spool, because in hydrogen cars, they require more air than gasoline cars, but their exhausts don't get as hot as gasoline cars, so it's harder for them to actually spool the turbo. One of the things they did was try an electric pump to try and get more air into the turbo to spool it. Now, they did try other methods besides just the electric pump, and if you want to know more, check out the channel. Now, do you drive a Kia or a Hyundai? First of all, my condolences. Second of all, congratulations! You could possibly be getting a new engine, because the engine, the Theta 2 engine that's in the Hyundai Sonata, Tucson, Santa Fe, Sport, or in the Kia Optima, Sorento, or in Sportage, are getting a warranty extension because the engines are known to just catch fire. Why? I'm assuming they realized they were in a Kia or Hyundai and they just decided to kill themselves. Can't blame them. I mean, I would say it's dog shit, but I don't want to seem racist here. It's like, why the hell would you buy a Kia or a Hyundai? Just like, your own car wants to kill itself. So Ford is going to unveil the new Mustang in Detroit on September the 14th. Now, they have named it the S7MP, maybe because they're hosting a cross-country trip with all Mustang owners, and it will end with the culmination of the reveal of the new Mustang, which I think is a pretty cool idea. But if it was me, I would have done it in the desert, and I would have all the Mustangs driving down, and then I would have the new one just in the pack somewhere, like covered in dust. We can't see it, and then out of nowhere it would just vroom, you know? Now, the event will take place at the Harts Plaza, which was actually the first ever paved road in America. Please don't let this Mustang be shit. Ugh. Now, let's talk about something crazy. Now, are you a redneck? Have you ever turned around and your truck was just gone? Well, I have found it. Not that kind of ice, you racist. Basically, there's this group of adventurers that in 2024 will try to go from the South Pole to the North Pole and back again in a car. I don't think I have to tell you, they're all white. But like, look at this! That's insane! And unfortunately, very recently, one of their F-150s went through the ice. No one was hurt, everyone's okay. But they have to get it out because they can't leave it down there because it has petrol in it, and if the petrol tank bursts, it will be really bad for the environment. Now, I feel like this whole expedition is just in retaliation to the fact that two baboons were the first people to reach the North Pole in a car after everyone said it was impossible. And they took the piss out of it. But like, honestly, why would a scientist want to do this? Like, what are they learning? But at least they got balls. Unlike some people, because Bugatti has announced that it will be ending the W16. Yes, yes. The engine that was said to be impossible, that was said to do the impossible, has now been left in the dust. And I grew up with this engine, so it's really emotional for me. And here's a little tribute that I made.
Such a massive step forward.
Okay, I'll tell you why. Part of it is the phenomenal speed. I mean, you might think it's not that much faster than a McLaren, the F1, the last fastest car in the world. Okay, that did 241. Okay, you put an F1 and this on the line together, you can let the McLaren get to 120 miles an hour before you set off, and you'll beat it to 200. And just think how hard it is to get 1,000 horsepower onto the road, okay? Imagine how strong the gearbox has got to be. Now, this was built and designed by a British company, okay?
The Bugatti Veyron, the W16, is at a 90-degree V. This engine has 4 turbochargers, basically 2 VR8s matched together to a common crankshaft. And each one of these cylinders has 2 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. So this VR8 staggered, but all 8 intakes come in on the left side and all the exhausts exit on the right side. On the left side, you're going to have a camshaft, and that's going to be controlling the intake valves for both sets of cylinders here, the left and the right. And then on the right, you're going to have a single exhaust camshaft, and that's going to be controlling the exhaust valves for both the left and the right.
But the 1001 horsepower number isn't really true. The engine actually produces 3,000 horsepower. 2/3 of that energy is heat.
The test crew detected that the exhaust gas was hot enough at 200 miles per hour to reignite when it came in contact with the ambient air. So there was a 6-feet flame shooting out of the exhaust system.
Flat out, it's all gone in 12 minutes. So much more than any car you've ever seen. I mean, it's as easy to drive as a normal car, but it goes like a bullet. And then when you're going down the mountain road, it handles like a Lotus Elite. What worries me is that in the current climate, you know, with shareholders and everyone twittering on about global warming, nobody's going to do it again.
And welcome back to NoticeGT. And for our first and now speaking of driving, I unfortunately drive I don't drive a Lexus. Now I am happy that we will still have fun in the future. Have I joined the EV train? Not yet. Let's see what Dodge's soundtrack looks like. Or sounds like. I do like it, because it means you're still worse to what Dodge's soundtrack is. Will I be buying a ticket to the EV train? Speaking of the future, inside the deep bellies of Porsche is they're trying to get the turbos to spool, whether it be an electric pump or 2 turbos, or so the Mustang is going to be released in Detroit on September the 14th. Yes, September the 14th. They have called it the 7-speed. The 7 speed.